Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at question 2b of the Functional Skills Maths Level 2 EDI sample assessment. So the question goes, show how you can check your answer to part A using a different method. So if we look back, take a quick look back at part A of question 2, we can see that we have the ultimate answer, which is £161.50. Okay, now when you're checking your answer to any calculation, you can always do a reverse calculation to see if you end up where you started, and if you don't end up where you started, then it's wrong. If you do end up where you started, then the likelihood is that you've done it correctly. So my rule with checking answers is, if we're doing a reverse calculation, the definition of a reverse calculation is always to start with your answer. So if we're starting with £161.50, we have to have a look what we did to get there. So we did a times to give us our answer, which means that we need to do something opposite of times to get back to where we started. Now, because we times by £42.50, if we divide our answer by £42.50, it should get us back to where we started, which was 3.8. So that's what I'm going to do for the first part of this check. So first part of the check will be to start with the answer, which is £161.50. We're going to do a divide because we did a times on the forward calculation, so a divide will be the opposite, and we're going to divide by £42.50 because we times by £42.50 in the forward calculation, equals 3.8. And if we insert that, that shows that your answer is correct. So this shows that the first part of my calculation is correct, as this is where I started from. Okay, so that's the first part of the calculation. And the second part of the calculation is that we actually got 3.8 as an answer to doing another calculation. So what we actually did here to start with is we times pi by 1.1, and then we times it again by 1.1. So if we start with 3.8 this time, we could divide it by pi, or we could divide it by 1.1, and we should get back to where we started. So if we type in 3.8 and we divide by, I'm just going to divide by 1.1, one step backwards at a time, equals, and I'm going to insert that to start with just so that my calculator doesn't get confused. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this answer divided by another 1.1, which should give us something that looks very similar to pi, which is 3.14. And we've got a slight rounding error there, but that's because I rounded this answer in the forward calculation. So I'm just going to put that this shows that this stage of my calculation was also correct, as this is where I started, and we can also just put that the slight error is a rounding error from my original answer. And that should answer the question fully. So, as you can see, to check your answer, all we've done is we've gone backwards. We've done what's called a reverse calculation. We've started with our answer, we've done the opposite function of what we did in the original calculation, and it's got us back to one of the numbers that we started with. And the same in this second part of the calculation. We've just done one step at a time, the complete reverse of what we did in the first place, and we've got back right to the start, and all the numbers are the same, apart from we've incurred a slight rounding error. on this number here, which was pi, because we decided to just keep the area to 1 decimal place in the forward calculation.